very good evening to you. It's another Wednesday, and you know what we do at this time. We're indeed glad to have you join us for an hour and a half of news from NTA's top table, treated with unique insight to give you all the perspectives on recent and unfolding events. So, talking about recent events, the nation's efforts at curbing corruption is on the upswing mood with the indefinite suspension of the EFCC boss. As you are aware, Nigeria's 10th Assembly has been inaugurated with a new set of leaders to steer the affairs of both chambers in the next 4 years. To quote President Tinubu, it is now time to get on with the business of the people. The catch here is quality legislation. Our lineup tonight is a mixed grill of the good and not too good. The sad news on the boat mishap that led to the loss of several lives is one President Tinubu has given a marching order on. We continue to shine the spotlight on how citizens are coping with subsidy removal. And on the positive side, we also beam the searchlight on the loan bill recently signed into law by Mr. President. Hilda Bassey, the super chef, also gets a focus, just as we get to talk about another Niger chef who is out to give Hilda a run for her money. Find out the pragmatic steps taken by the nation's watchdog on health security towards stemming the tide of cholera. Our health-related specials are must-watch, some of which could make you start doing things for humanity, such as voluntary blood donation. We shall take you to the interesting world of twins at the Twinny Gathering in Katsina. Be part of the beat we have on security, human trafficking, business, and of course, sports. Now, these are just a tip of what to come on our lineup. So, sit back and enjoy the full package. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and this is News Extra. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has approved the indefinite suspension of the Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bawah. A statement from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation indicates that the suspension is to allow for proper investigation into the weighty allegations of abuse of office leveled against him. Mr. Bawah has been directed to immediately hand over the affairs of his office to the Director of Operations in the Commission, who will oversee the affairs of the office of the Chairman of the Commission pending the conclusion of the investigation. How to tackle security challenges, including insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping in parts of the country featured prominently as President Bola Tinubu today debriefed some state governors and heads of agencies. State House correspondent Musbah Danwahab reports that the Emir of Borgu, Muhammad Haliru Dantoro, was on the list of visitors today.
Emir of Borgu and his counterparts from Kotagura visiting the Jagaba of Borgu. It is a king visiting one of his chiefs for attaining the highest position in the land, which also lends credence to his title, translating as a leader.
He's already in the office, and we have seen changes coming to the country. So it is something that we feel is very necessary to encourage him.
But beyond felicitations and words of encouragement, the traditional rulers are equally craving for solution to the insecurity situation in part of Niger State.
We told him what actually is going on in our areas, and we want him to come to our aid, and he has promised he's going to do his best in terms of this security challenge.
The recent spate of kidnap cases in Nasarawa and neighboring states to the Federal Capital Territory also brought Governor Abdullahi Sule to the president.
We had a few of some of those issues. In fact, a few days ago, we had almost 20-something people who were kidnapped at the main highway coming to Abuja. But God so kind, we were able to get all of them back. And then last week, We got some few expatriates again that were kidnapped at their site, between Garoku and Dari. And again, we were able to get all of them out yesterday. So I'm sure Mr. President got his security report that some of those issues came up.
So what assurances are you getting from him tackling the situation?
Well, I saw the commitment from his own side, because from what you can see, while I'm here, there are already some heads of security agencies that are here. And he said he's going to discuss with them immediately. And in the past, we had taken joint military operation in the area. And he said that that is also another option that he will look at, and that is the direction that we are getting.
Sectorial briefing by heads of agencies continues, and it was the turn of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This is another crucial sector to this administration, as the president hopes to tackle oil theft and completely eradicate youth restiveness in the oil-producing region.
What we need to do is that if we intervene in the areas of underdevelopment, definitely oil theft will also reduce. So we, as an interventionist agency, we are not involved in pipeline security. There are people who are doing pipeline security, and the NNPC have also awarded contract for pipeline security and all that. So for us, it's just to support the youth too. And once we support the youth in time to carry out some engagement program for youths and empowerment program for youth, we believe that, yes, the mindset will also shift.
In the meantime, there is a hope in sight on intervention to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the people, as NNPC Melekeri was again at the State House to update the President on situations in the oil and gas sector.
I'm aware that Mr. President is working on several steps to bring palliatives on ground so that Nigerians can benefit from it. More than anything, there's a structural approach to make sure that Nigerians have access to cheap fuel in the form of CNG and LPG, and this is work in progress, and I believe that this will be rolled out very soon.
The NNPC boss says progress is being made on rehabilitation of some refineries, which will be publicized in due course. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
And from the State House, we move to the National Assembly, where the 10th Senate is set to commence the business of legislation 24 hours after inauguration, as it communicates President Bola Tinubu on the composition of the 10th Senate. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the resolution was reached at its maiden plenary.
On the first day of plenary after inauguration, the Senate had a closed-door meeting which lasted for 3 hours. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, gave a hint on the issues discussed.
On matters relevant to the workings of the Nigerian Senate in particular and the National Assembly in general.
The Deputy President of the Senate, Jibrin Barrow, took the first motion on the order paper, which deals with passing of information to the executive, the House of Representatives, and other parliamentary bodies on the composition of the 10th Senate.
Informing them that the quorum of the Senate of the 10th National Assembly has assembled and is ready to receive any communication.
In the meantime, a welfare committee has been set up to handle some needs of the lawmakers.
It's a normal practice that some people have to sit back, take stock of the seats, and then locate the seats so that next time when we are coming here, you will speak from your seat. And then you are also expected to move into your offices. Right now, you don't have those offices.
Senate has adjourned to Tuesday, 4th July 2023. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Well, as I said, the ball rolling, we are hopeful for more citizen-friendly initiatives. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives in its first plenary has declared the seat of former Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, vacant. This follows Femi Gbajabiamila's formal resignation as a member of the Green Chamber to assume his appointment as Chief of Staff to the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpin brings us details of this and other deliberations of the House.
Sit down, please.
The first plenary of the 10th House of Representatives commenced with the Speaker directing the clerk to the National Assembly to notify the Executive and the Senate of the composition of the House.
That the clerk to the National Assembly do advise the Secretary to the federal government to inform the President that the House has assembled and quorum formed and ready to receive any message he may wish to transmit.
Thereafter comes a letter of resignation from the former Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila to enable him assume his new office as Chief of Staff to the President.
It is with with mixed feelings that I want to at this time present to you and the Honorable House my letter of resignation from this House.
We have declared the seat of Surulere 1, Federal Constituency of Lagos, vacant as from today. Thank you.
Before taking his bow from the chamber, the former Speaker moved a motion of urgent public importance on the need to mitigate the effect of flooding in the country this year, as predicted by NIMET. The House, after amendment of the prayers, resolved to invite the DG of NEMA to brief the House on the measures in place to mitigate flood disasters and enhance intergovernmental collaboration. The House also adopted resolutions of 2 motions of urgent public importance on the need to implement palliative measures to mitigate effects of fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians, moved by Representative Sani Madaki, and on the need to control gully erosion in Enugu North and Udi local government areas, moved by Representative Chimobi Sam Atu.
To mitigate the effect of fuel subsidy removal on Nigeria, to mandate the Committee on Labour and Productivity, when constituted, to ensure compliance and report back within 2 weeks for further legislative action. Mandate the Joint Committee on Environment, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, and Works to undertake an investigation of the threat posed by the body erosion.
The House adjourned plenary to Thursday, 15th of June, 2023. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
Strengthening the relationship between the 3 arms of government is said to be the best way a nation can achieve stability and good governance. With the inauguration of the 10th legislative arm of government, expectations from a cross-section of Nigerians are very high. Adiola Komiakere brings us some of these expectations.
The curtain has finally been drawn on the 9th National Assembly and the new tent inaugurated to steer the nation's legislative ship for the next 4 years. The legislature, which represents the people, is an integral part of good governance. Despite the upheavals that affected some of the assemblies in time past, it has remained unshaken and more resolute to ensure a greater and virile nation, as well as to deliver its mandate. Every new government has a lot on its plate left behind by predecessors, and with the inauguration of a 10th National Assembly, Nigerians are calling on this body saddled with constitutional functions to deliver a sustainable dispensation of good governance under a creative, loyal, and people-oriented administration.
The responsibility is number 1, to make sure that the government has the kinds of rules, policies, laws, and regulations that will make for a saner society, a society that's open for business, a society that will bring about economic development.
How can the 10th National Assembly live above board in the discharge of its duties?
Living above board by the National Assembly will be a deep call onto the innermost being of them as far as patriotism for their nation is concerned. The other part is that citizens must continue to hold them to account.
All this suggests areas they should tackle headlong.
They should make laws that will encourage the organizations and companies making money in this country to plow back part of their resources, part of their profit, which they make so much in this country, in those sports.
to ensure that which is promised Nigerians are delivered in record time. And this is not to say that there should be a rubber stamp assembly, but no, they are to fulfill their responsibility to carry out their oversight functions as at when due.
The hope reassured mantra is what Nigerians are banking on for a prosperous nation. Adeola Komiakiri, NTA News.
Great expectations. Now, to a sad story, President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the boat mishap that claimed over 100 lives at Patigi local government area of Kwara State. In a statement, President Tinubu expresses sympathy and condolences to the Kwara State government, families and friends of victims of the tragic incident, of which the victims were guests at the wedding ceremony in the area. The President urges the Kwara State government and relevant agencies to investigate the circumstances surrounding the both accident, as well as provide immediate relief and necessary assistance to the survivors and families of victims. He assures that his administration will address the challenges of inland water transportation in the country to ensure safety and operational standards are strictly adhered to. Nigerian students bask in the euphoria of the new Students' Loan Act, just as we feel the pulse of citizens on the impact of subsidy removal. Join us again for details of these and other stories when we return. To stay with us. You're still watching News Extra on NTA. Since the announcement of the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu, FCT residents have welcomed the move, but say they are now prudent with their spending and movements. Aisha Ubali, who went round the city during an after-work hours, reports on a first-hand encounter with some residents. Let's hear from her.
A step that many administrations could not take, but finally it topped the agenda of the current administration, with Nigerians now looking for alternative means of surviving the phase.
Many Nigerians, especially on the streets of Abuja, have applauded the federal government for removing the subsidy. But however, we can see the impact of this on the road. We have few cars and less traffic on the road. But however, the civil servants who spoke to have appealed to federal government to find a way of cushioning the effect of subsidy removal. But we didn't only speak with civil servants. We're out on the streets of Abuja at night to see how the nightlife in Abuja is now that the subsidy has been removed.
Many believe what will be good at times has a rough start, and that is how they see this subsidy removal, which they are in full support.
From here to Kurudu, where I stay, I think it's around 500 naira. So for me, I personally, to be paid that 500 naira, I'm okay with, I'm happy with.
Stay here now. Do you see anyone here? There is no car, and I really do not blame anyone.
There should have been a plan for the civil servants.
Even though this has affected movement, spending here at Lagos streets, residents and traders are also seeing slight downturn in night and social life of people.
They come here and then spend some time. Now, immediately they close, they have to go back home.
Subsidy, very okay, I beg. Let them remove it, I beg. What we are expecting for this government, please, make them double our salary.
It's not small with the sell now. You know they see people. You don't see the road. No motor.
Some women are happy that their husbands can now sit at home with them. But for Mary, who sells fish at the popular Lagos street at Garki, she's not buying into that idea. Aside not having people coming to buy fish, the increase in the price of roast fish is also another issue customers have to deal with. Customers like Muhammad, subsidy removal would not stop him from hanging out, but it has reduced the amount of spending.
Even this subsidy, I'm still buying fish. Even today, I even go and buy a fuel.
This popular joint used to be a beehive. Bright is a comedian and entertainmentpreneur. He described his movement with that of ruler measurement.
It's not somehow it has affected not just at night, but daily movement and all that.
Nigerians see there is no other time than now. In Abuja, Aisha Ubali, NTA News.
Thank you, Aisha, for the report. It means you must buy what you need, not what you want at this time around. We will enjoy the dividends. Let's be patient. It is no longer news that the federal government removed subsidy on premium motor spirit, also known as fuel. The subsidy removal expectedly led to hike in pump price of fuel across the country. Perhaps the question to ask now is, how are Nigerians contending with the reality? Ifeoma Okafor in this report takes a look at other alternative transportation modes adopted by some Nigerians at this critical period.
The hike in pump price occasioned by fuel subsidy removal no doubt has led to an abrupt increase in transport fares compared to what commuters were parting with before the removal. For instance, in Benin City, commercial drivers are now charging between 200 to 250 naira for a distance that previously cost about 100 naira. To however adapt to change, some Nigerians, especially those who know how to ride bicycle, now riding it to their various destinations, while others who do not have bicycles trek as they could not afford the transportation costs.
It's now a common sight here in Benin City as many people ride bicycle as a means of transporting themselves to their different destinations.
To some of them, cycling has dual advantage as it can be used as a low-impact forms of exercise for all ages and also a means of transportation to their shops, offices and schools. Above all, it is cheap to acquire and does not use fuel, just as those who prefer to trek to their destinations say such method is healthy.
If you have up to 40 to 50,000, you can get a good bicycle, and bicycle does not consume fuel, so it's something you can ride and comfortably go to your working place and come back.
Nigerians will always find a way to create an alternative.
Itself is an exercise. It's just that in this part of the world, I don't know whether to say that it's pride though. In developed countries, we use bicycles. And because of the way our roads are and our drivers and with the road users, we are very reckless. That's why a lot of people, they are scared of using bicycle. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
In the meantime, sellers of all types of bicycle also say, despite the advantage, the patronage is not encouraging.
For now, the patronage has not peaked. The demand has not increased. We are expecting a situation where by now people should be rushing to come and buy bicycles.
Although stakeholders commend the initiative behind the use of bicycle to move around against the backdrop of transportation costs, they however urge government at different levels to invest more on road infrastructure and construct cycle lanes so as to make roads safer for both cyclists and bikers. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
Thank you, Ifeoma. Now, a lot of people say road accidents in the FCT occur because roads are too good, that motorists get carried away. Well, the narrative is changing as residents are now decrying the deplorable state of roads, especially in satellite towns and some parts of the city center. Rosemary Motatleng Bilal looks at Area 3 and Kubwa axis, where residents and motorists appeal to relevant authorities to come to their aid.
The capital city of Nigeria, fast growing to meet with other developing nations, a drive around the popular Area 3 junction, residents are calling for maintenance of the road in the city center. One of which is the Area 3 road linking Area 1 through the Upper Bridge roundabout. Residents who drive around this area from Area 10 through Area 8 express displeasure.
This road has been more than 10 years like that when government abandoned it. They did not do anything. They have constructed bridge over there, but this particular one, we don't know whether it's a function of AMAC local government or federal government or still. So we are confused.
Wait a minute. Did we say city center? And have you visited some of the area councils to see the level of deplorable roads? Kubwa is one out of many We took a drive from the popular federal housing through the Gado Nasco Road. Residents of these axes are really waiting for both the area council's intervention and the Federal Capital Territory Authority to help in fixing the road to ease free flow of traffic, as most of them do not wait for the traffic light directive but always beat the traffic.
This particular spot we are talking about, it's been like this for the past 7 years, if I can recollect very well. We've tried to make an arrangement to contact Buhari Area Council to see if we can partner with them to fix this spot.
Kubwa today in FCT is one of the largest satellite towns. And of course, the investment in Kubwa, the revenue in Kubwa cannot be overlooked by any administration. So that is why we are emphasizing that the FCT administration should buckle up and ensure the continuation of reconstruction of these roads in Kubwa.
Just want to appeal to them that this is the Federal Capital Territory. Charity begins at home. They should start from FCT here and from Kubwa here.
One of the officials of the FCDA who spoke off camera said there are ongoing plans to patch some of the roads as soon as the rain subside. Rosemary Moltelen Bilal, NTA News.
And we hope relevant authorities will take action. How best should a man's hard work, diligence and selflessness be celebrated? Is it by clicking glasses or dancing to music? For the National Youth Service Corps NYSC scheme like never before, it is time to appreciate, deepen collaboration and optimize Corps members' contributions through community development service for nation building. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Since the establishment of NYSC 50 years ago, 4 cardinal programs have been the driving force of its one-year mandatory exercise. These are orientation course, primary assignment, community development service, and passing out parade. With more than 15 community development service groups in the NYSC and each contributing their own quota in communities they find themselves, it is time to reward Corps members who, during their service year, placed service above self, leaving their host communities where they served better than they met it, either as individuals or as a group.
Apart from bridging the imbalance in rural-urban development, their effort also reawaken stakeholders' consciousness of the needs of the rural dwellers.
Dajan Peter is a graduate of special education from the Federal College of Education, Panchin in Plateau State. When called to service, he was posted to Government Technical and Science College, Asako, in Nasarawa State for his primary assignment. He says, while contributing to societal development, he never thought such recognition would come his way.
I distributed 30 wheelchairs. I planned 50 masquerade tree at the local government secretariat at where I serve. I also organized extramural classes for the students in the community I serve.
And in its continued effort at enhancing the living standards of its host communities, as well as improving health, political and socio-cultural condition of host communities towards sustainable development, NTA Executive Director, Administration and Training, Nansel Nimiel believes galvanizing the great potential of youths and generating community interest towards national development is pivotal.
You can see the number of community projects that are being introduced by the DG today. I think that goes to show you that it is evolving. And I'm happy that instead of retrogressing, the NYSC is actually progressing, and we need the support of everyone to encourage, this scheme that is supposed to forge the unity of Nigerians, to continue.
A lot, according to other partners, can be achieved if all stakeholders show more commitment to their statutory responsibilities to the NYSC. The event, the third in its series, began in 2021. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Long live the NYSC scheme. There is a general consensus that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency has taken off well. For students of tertiary institutions, the signing into law of the Students' Loan Bill by the President has the potential to enhance educational opportunities for indigent students. Adams Abdulkadir brings us reactions of the subject matter.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed into law Student Loan Bill, which provides for interest-free loans to hidden Nigerian students. The signing of this new law, they say, is a signal to President Tinubu's commitment to prioritizing access to education and empowering young Nigerians. It's also to assist financially disadvantaged students in acquiring quality education within the country.
Most students don't really have the necessary facilities to go to school, but by this loan, at least they can be able to go to school, and seeing the fact that they're going to pay, so they will sit up, they will study hard, so that at the end of it, they can be able to have something on their own that they can be able to pay back. So I think this is a very good and wonderful opportunity for all students.
Most especially to the less privileged people in our society. It is not all parents that can be afford to have tuition fees, to sponsor their children to the higher institution.
Very, very good, because it will assist our students and it will boost them up. And education will not be last again, education will be coming up.
That shows that the students will be happy, and it has shown that everybody will be carried along.
We are talking about people that are not really working well placed. They don't have enough to take care of themselves, talk more of their children. So with this bill, their children can apply, and it will definitely off the responsibility on the parent.
According to the law, beneficiaries commence repayment of the loan after 2 years of graduation. In Lafia, Adams Abdulkadir, NTA News.
Better days ahead for Nigerian students. Now, the All Progressives Congress APC has advised Amnesty International and its affiliates to give the current government some time to work things out in consonance with its pledge to the people, rather than rushing out with its criticisms against the Nigerian government and its security authorities. National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Moka, in a statement said President Bola Tinubu and his team are settling down to resolve many of the national challenges across various sectors. The party therefore appealed to Amnesty International to allow the government to do its work without their usual condescending views. The party notes that insecurity is a global phenomenon, and President Bola Tinubu made it clear during his inaugural speech that security will be the topmost priority of his administration. Former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for demonstrating leadership by supporting the emergence of Senator Godswill Akpabio and other leadership of the National Assembly. The former governor spoke to the media in his country home in Port Harcourt. Ogedinyekwe completes the story.
Former Governor Nyesom Wike says the emergence of Senator Godswill Akpabio as the Senate President of the 10th Assembly and Tajuddin Abbas as Speaker of the House of Representatives is a clear demonstration that President Tinubu and Nigerians have the interests of the country at heart. He remarked that the openness of the president and his commitment to do the right thing contributed to the seamless and rancor-free election at the National Assembly that produced Senator Godswill Akpabio as President of the Senate.
The masses will suffer. So for me, I commend Mr. President for being fair, for being bold. Not only being bold and firm, come out openly, move out from his residence to say, look, let us do this. Appealing to people who are interested. The interest of Nigeria is paramount than your own interest.
The governor advised the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, the Speaker House of Representatives, and the entire National Assembly to work in unison with the executive to move Nigeria forward while still maintaining separation of powers.
Akpabio is a competent person. Akpabio is a qualified and educated person. He was former commissioner of local government. He became a governor. He became a senator. He became a minister. Come on. What criteria, what qualification do you want? He has shown company. He has shown that look. He was a senior prefect of the federal government of Port Harcourt. Akpabio is an orator who can represent this country anywhere.
Former Governor Wike says his support for Akpabio spans from his belief that Akpabio has the pedigree to deliver on that mandate to place Nigeria on the path of growth. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
From the court, we hear that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25, 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, at Wednesday's hearing of his petition, challenged the outcome of the election and tendered several documents before the Presidential Election Petition Court. Our judiciary correspondent, Austin Aibe, brings us details.
Among the documents tendered at Wednesday's sitting of the court are downloaded IREV reports certified by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. They include 21 local government areas of Benue, 25 local government areas of Niger, 17 local government areas of Edo, 20 local government areas of Bauchi, 8 local government areas of Bayelsa, 21 local government areas of Kaduna, and 8 local government areas of Gombe states. Also tendered are IREV certified forms from some of the states which cannot be linked to any local government areas because they are blood. The legal team led by Levi Uzuaku, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, also tendered in evidence INEC certificate of compliance for 6 states and Beaver's compliance report for 28 states. After exhausting the documents brought to court, the lead counsel drew the attention of the justices to their inability to serve the chairman of INEC with a subpoena to provide them with some documents sought, and consequently sought adjournment to Thursday, 15th June, to continue with his evidence, which was granted. In all the documents tendered and admitted by the Election Petition Court, counsel to the respondents opposed the admissibility, saying they shall state their reasons and grounds in the final written addresses. Same objection was raised to the admissibility of the written statement on oath of the 21st petition witness called by the presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. The subpoenaed witness by name Samuel Oduton from Kaduna State said he is a statistician and came to give statistical analysis of the February 25th election. The court accepted the statement of the witness and noted the objections of the respondents, saying ruling is reserved till the final judgment. The witness will be cross-examined Thursday, 15th June 2023. Going by the pre-trial report issued in May 2023, the petitioners have up to 23rd of June to close their evidence, while the respondent counsel shall commence their defense. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, Austin Aibe, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to project delivery. When there's a new beginning, new things begin to happen. Now we have a new government. We expect new thinking, new approaches, and so on. It is therefore not surprising that the Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria resolved to create a new project management delivery methodology that is unique to Nigeria, with a consideration of ethnic, religious, political, and cultural diversities and how they impact project delivery. This came up at a special session of the Institute in Abuja. Tokbe Alabi reports.
Building collapse has become a major challenge confronting Nigeria, having become a recurring decimal every year. In 2022, no fewer than 61 buildings collapsed across Nigeria, with structural failures representing 48.7% of the entire cases. The trend has continued in 2023, with at least 5 estimated to be dying in every collapse. New president of the Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria, Dr. Damilola hinted his readiness to tackle these by addressing the issue of quackery and enforcement of all relevant provisions of the Institute's Act to curtail the growing menace of building collapse.
And those who are found not to be licensed managing the project will be prosecuted in line with, we need to show some deterrent, in line with the provision of Section 19, so that people will now come back to their senses and ensure that the right people are being appointed. And even if the right person is appointed, you yourself doesn't have the laxity to do whatever you like. Because the project manager is really the life wire of the project. He drives the project. He makes it happen. If you don't have the know-how, the project is dead on arrival.
Dr. Damilola, a fellow of the Institute, has been leading in an acting capacity since a court order removed Dr. Victoria Okoronko, and has now emerged the substantive president following an election conducted on Tuesday, 13th June 2023 in Abuja. Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Health and culinary skills hold sway in our next segment with Hilda Bassey in another super chef, Brazen, to give the Guinness Book record holder a run for her money. This is News Extra. We'll be right back.
We must all join hands to work hard so that we build a country for our grandchildren.
My hope is that we develop this nation.
Is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
You're still watching News Extra on NTA. When it comes to glamour and style, Lush hair has been reputed to be the leading quality in the hair enhancement and marketing business in Nigeria. A Lush hair stylist hangout was held in Ibadan to amplify this view. Lukman Hassan has more.
The Lush Hair Hangout afforded the producers of Lush Hair to fill the pulse of their users and fashion out ways to further satisfy their needs. Lush Hair's latest product, Colored Braid, along with its other products, were reintroduced to beauticians and stylists with a pledge to continue to maintain quality at affordable prices.
Lush Hair as a brand, we are very serious about our research and development. We always take a lot of time before launching a product, and we make sure that the products are according to the needs and the requirements of our end customers.
Whatever role you're taking at different times of the day, there is a Lush for you. So whether you start out your day as a mother, and then you switch to a career woman, and then you have to switch to a mother back, and then you have to switch to being a wife, there is a hairstyle courtesy of Lush Hair.
Customers of Lush Hair will note that the products are in the front burner among its acres.
Their product is so fine, so filled. Their hair is so soft, silk, shining. Their product is so good.
Lush Hair, they are good braids. They are full of colors. They are colorful.
Games to test the skills of beauticians on the use of Lush Hair were played, with prizes given to the winners and other loyal customers of Lush Hair. Established in 2018, this is the first Lush Hair Hangout in Ibadan. Lukman Hassan, NTA News.
Guinness World Record holder for marathon cooking individual Hilda Bassey has called on the youth to be patient, diligent, and be ready to persevere to achieve their goals, as this is the only way to success. The world record holder gave the advice while talking to Larry Bilayi on a confirmation by the world record body.
He started with a plan to wipe the world cooking record of 87 hours 45 minutes set by India's Lata Tandon. And after 4 days of non-stop display of culinary skills and serving of over 100 delicacies, the goal was achieved and exceeded by Chef Hilda to 100 hours. After defeat, Hilda and other Nigerians held their breath and eagerly waited for the outcome of assessment by officials of the Global Reference Book Achievements. Almost a month later, the result was announced.
Now announced that with a time of 93 hours and 11 minutes, Hilda Bassey is the new holder for the Guinness World Records title for longest cooking marathon.
Hilda's 100-hour estimation was, however, reduced by Guinness World Records to 93 hours 11 minutes after the assessment showed she took a longer break than allowed on one occasion.
There was a miscalculation when it came to Hilda's rest breaks, meaning we are unable to award the 100 hours claimed.
For Hilda, the confirmation by Guinness World Record that she is the new record holder for the longest cooking marathon by an individual at 93 hours and 11 minutes is still the needed crowning of all our efforts.
I have to pinch myself. Like I'm pinching myself. Like, is this really it? Because I remember when I started talking about it, and then for it to actually be happening, it's like, it's actually happened.
Chef Hilda advised and encouraged Nigerians, particularly the youth, to be disciplined and focused, as there is no shortcut success.
The time I thought about doing the Guinness World Record, and when I did it was about 5 years interval, because even I needed to grow personally, I needed to grow professionally, I needed to grow financially to be able to take on a challenge at the scale that I decided to do it.
There is no monetary gains. However, the feat attracts prestige and global certificate of recognition. Meanwhile, Hilda says what is next for her now is to become a mentor to the youth while she continues to beam more light on Nigeria on the world map as the nation to go to for outstanding cuisine. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Let's take a cue from Hilda. Develop your talent. Do that thing that makes you happy. And be positive always. Now to another record. An Ekiti-born chef, Damilola Adeparusi, has attempted to set a new world record by cooking for 120 hours. Damilola began this feat on Friday, 9th of June 2023 at 12 a.m. and ended at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, 14th of June. Olukemi Sani has details.
Damilola Adeparusi, now popularly referred to as Chef Dami, aged 22, and a 300-level student of Mass Communication, Federal University, Oye Ekiti, which is the adjoining town to our hometown, Ilupeju Ekiti. Ilupeju Ekiti is a quiet town. Aside from its magnificent rock formation, not much could be said of Ilupeju Ekiti until its hitherto relatively unknown daughter, Chef Dami, launched the town into limelight. On Friday, 7th of June 2023, at about 12 midnight, Damilola Adeparusi began a record-breaking feat in a very small space kitchen donated to her by another son of the soil.
This is another avenue through which Ekiti State is being projected beyond the shore of Nigeria. You know, all this why people think that there's nothing happening in Ekiti State.
It's something that we have to be happy about, that our youths are already thinking, you know, in the right direction to get themselves constructively engaged doing the right thing. And as a government establishment, we have no other choice except to come and show solidarity.
Chef Dami's ambition was to cook non-stop for 120 hours to break the recently set record of another Nigerian, Hilda Bassey. Throughout the duration of her cooking, Chef Dami never lacked attention and support from her church, colleagues from school, government functionaries, politicians, and even tourism experts.
I saw in her that, look, this is a dogged person. Not only is she doing it, she's not even thinking about the fact that I don't have what some have, all the things they have, but with what I have, I'm going to do this.
According to Dami's mother, Bamidele Adeparusi, Damilola is a born cook. As it is, Chef Dami is dexterous in cooking varieties of foods. Damilola is not only a chef, she is also a poet and songwriter. She is a curious person and has passion for researching and learning about new things. In Ado Ekiti, Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
120 hours. Well, her determination is quite useful to the youth out there. Everyone, actually, we need to emulate them. All right, let's set the record straight in the world of business, and our busy businessman, Benny, is ready. Benny?
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to business. The Naira has officially been floated after years of sticking with a hard peg that spooked investors and drained dollars from the economy. Reports say a market rate is based on a willing buyer and a willing seller, and currently being quoted by banks who sent out emails to some customers confirming the change. And the World Bank, at an ongoing global forum on adaptive social protection in Berlin, says there is need for global financing towards social protection for all in the face of multiple global crises. This is as stakeholders believe social protection is one of the most effective instruments for fighting poverty and hunger.
right now acting with a sense of urgency.
But there's also a need for empowering governments to come up with own financial systems and with own financial thinking, and how to support tax systems, starting with the revenue in various countries, to really rise this amount.
Moving to fill these 5 gaps, right? Coverage, financing, opportunity, flexibility, and system development.
And that's why the Ministry of Finance and the economic reform in the country, cutting down on subsidies, increasing taxations, having some sort of economic reform, and it also aligned with lots of legal reform, whether for the social pension reform, for the reform on the law for disability, law for economic, law for SMEs. You're trying to align all of this within a rights-based social protection vision.
And European markets closed higher Wednesday as investors look ahead of a widely expected announcement of a pause in rate hikes from the Federal Reserve. Nekaoko has more on the market.
Global stocks climbed on Wednesday, with markets positioned for Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to announce a pause in the U.S. Central Bank's interest rate hiking campaign. In Europe, markets were higher. The DAX in Germany was 0.48% up, with UK FTSE also rising 0.37% and the French CAC advanced 0.7%. Asia-Pacific markets were mixed, as the inflation in the US rose at a 4% annual rate in May, the lowest in 2 years. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 popped 1.47% to close at 33,502.42, recording its 5th straight session of gains, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 0.58% and the Shanghai Composite down 0.14%. On Wall Street, the S&P 500 futures traded higher in early trading, with investors looking ahead to the Federal Reserve's policy decision. The S&P 500 futures climbed 0.16%, Nasdaq 100 futures rose by 0.2%, while futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 45 points. Markets in Africa were mixed this Wednesday. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 rose 0.14%. Namibia's overall index also gained 0.21%, while others like Tunisia's Tone Index and Kenya's Nairobi All Share were in negative territory.
Back home, at the end of today's trading session on the exchange, a total of 1.296 million shares in 11,947 deals corresponds to a market value of 21.080 billion naira were traded. Compared with previous trading day, which was Tuesday, today's data shows 9% improvement in volume, 10% improvement in turnover, and 15% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 32.7 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by Guarantee Trust Holding and Zenith Bank. That is business news. Elizabeth, it's nice doing business with you.
Nice doing business with you too, Benny. Thank you. If you're familiar with the saying that the best things in life are free, then issues around blood donation should interest you, courtesy of it being a lifesaver. A blood service that gives patients access to safe blood and blood products in sufficient quantity is seeking a component of an effective health system. This is because it provides patient-centered health care and focuses on assuring equitable access with the aim of progressing to achieving universal health coverage. This, experts say, is the essence of the Blood Donor Day. Let's join Bassey Taikman for more on this.
Give blood, give plasma, share life, share often is the focus of this year's celebration. This, Nigeria official highest blood donor, Nathan John, says create a safe and sustainable supply of blood and blood products, especially the joy of knowing that you would save a life someday.
And I feel fulfilled because I've done something to somebody who will not be able to pay me back, and I don't know him.
While the day celebrates donors and encourages people to donate, It also mobilizes national, regional, and global level collaboration to invest in sustaining blood programs.
It also highlights the importance of giving blood or plasma regularly to create a safe and sustainable supply of blood and blood products that can always be available.
To ensure safe, efficient, and transparent flow of blood and blood products in the delivery of safe and quality blood transfusion service.
Nigeria National Blood Service Commission says requires an average 2 million units of blood annually. The commission collects only 25%, leaving the nation with a shortfall of 1.5 million units of blood annually.
After this very World Blood Donor Day, what next? Will you keep donating like me for the past 18 years? Will you stop donating, or will you bring somebody else, you know? It is another thing.
You've heard it all from him. The in thing there is, after this Blood Donors Day, what next? The thing is, keep donating blood. You never knew who you will save. It could be your nearest person. Bassey Taipan.
NTA News.
I agree with you. Donate some blood and save a life. Now, to another health issue, the approach to solving societal challenges can truly make the difference. This ideology forms the mandate of Solution Journalism Network, a non-profit organization that beams its searchlight on Nigerians who are contributing their quota to making the world a better place. The attention rests on the ASIDO Foundation and the feat they are achieving in addressing mental health challenges in Nigeria. Thekla Wilkie will bring us details.
These are Nigerians living with mental health challenges. They battle stigmatization, abuse, and abandonment at every tick of the clock. They're not alone. The World Health Organization says 1 in 4 persons may likely suffer one form of mental health condition in their lifetime. The reality hits home. Mental health is one of the 4 major pillars that defines a healthy person. The other pillars are physical, spiritual, and emotional health. Sadly, most developing nations still treat this critical aspect of human well-being with kids' gloves. This disposition has had undesirable impact on mental health care in Nigeria.
We have people who are chained and hidden away from the public because they have mental illnesses. We have old women being beaten to death in our society, accused of witchcraft, when in many of these cases it is clear that the woman may have depression or dementia.
26-year-old Jumoke has been living with schizophrenia for many years. This condition not only made her destitute, but isolated her from friends and family.
When the thing entered my brain, I used to misbehave. Like that was what made me tear all my results. And I was like, let me use this, I should just kill myself.
Her life took a positive turn with the intervention by the ASIDO Foundation.
In my situation, it's like I used to get beat up. My dad always beat me up for that. And when I asked for something, and my dad is a person that used to drink, person that used to, when he's thinking of something like that. So around my area, all the people I know, they are not there for me. They used to make jest of me and all that. But when I met ASIDO people, everything changed.
Jumoke's experience mirrors one amongst the many challenges mental health patients suffer in Nigeria. Disturbingly, the number of potential patients is rising at a staggering rate, with blurry lines between demographic spread and gender ratio of the Nigerian population. In responding to this health challenge, the ASIDO Foundation has made it its business to providing evidence-based information tailored towards advocacy and intervention in filling the widening gap of mental health cases in Nigeria. In spite of its noble gesture, the foundation suffers constraints that limit its operations. Funding tops the list.
More collaboration, more partnerships, more finances, more funding towards achieving and realizing our goals.
Beyond these challenges, the founder says A government action plan with a national spread and an assertive implementation strategy alongside support from organized private sector will go a long way in addressing the widening gap in mental health care in Nigeria.
On the average, we have 1 psychiatrist to 1 million Nigerians, and that is grossly insufficient. And especially when you then factor the fact that most of the psychiatrists and the clinical psychologists are concentrated around major cities.
While the contributions of Asido Foundation may seem like a drop in the bucket, the likes of Jumoke now have a shot at living their desired lives with renewed hope and a clearer vision for the future. In Abuja, Thekla Wilkie, NTA News.
This aspect of health is very important to pay attention, and for those with the condition, they need our support and care. Many Nigerians no doubt associate Nigeria's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, with COVID-19. Not to worry, this is not about coronavirus or an outbreak of another deadly virus. The story here is that the agency is working out a new national cholera plan, a roadmap that strategizes means to cholera control in Nigeria and meeting the 2030 global target of reducing related deaths by 90%. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports that the nation's health security watchdog is also leading a national technical working group to a 4-day workshop in Abuja.
Cholera is a global public health problem and endemic in Africa. Though preventable and treatable, cases in Nigeria tend to increase. Experts are hinting there might be an upsurge in cases during the rainy season. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, with participants drawn from ministries, agencies and partners on cholera control, are at this workshop to review outcomes of previous measures, progress, performance and gaps as it relates to cholera management in Nigeria.
The next thing is full steam ahead to implement our national plan that hopefully will provide better direction, will consolidate all of the efforts, and will help us to change the narrative as far as cholera is concerned. I do not want to be at the top of the league of countries with the highest number of cholera cases in 2023.
Discussions explore options for coordination between sectors and how to also strengthen preparedness for cholera control in Nigeria by 2027.
Major outbreak in 2021, Nigeria had 3.2% case fatality rate, which is not acceptable. Global best practice, less than 1%.
This is a very critical moment for the Nigeria to take the lead in cholera control as well. And this is where it starts from, the document, the plan.
The engagement, which will also be revisiting the last template of global strategic direction and accountability to prevent cholera transmission, is expected to produce a new national cholera plan that will give direction on how water, sanitation and hygiene wash activities can be strengthened, capacity along surveillance and case management. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Thank you, Shea, for the update. They say one man's meat is another's poison. There used to be times in certain climes where having twins was considered evil, while in other climes it was and still a blessing. Let us talk about Katsina State, where it counted actually as a blessing, and why more than 300 sets of twins are converging at a forum to strengthen mutual relationship and appreciate the blessings from God. The twins gathered in Katsina Metropolis for a maiden meeting in show of love for their family. Awal Haliru reports.
It is twins meeting, and in pairs they walked majestically, but to differentiate in the crowd, each set of twins wears unique dress. The first meeting of Katsina twins is an opportunity for them to meet and share experience.
Our clothes, anything, we are doing it together. Everywhere we are going, our school, our seats.
When you are twins, you find out that there is a uniqueness in life. And as a human, it is unique, it has to be unique. Why is Hassan? Hassan is here. Please, will you marry my wife or my daughter or something like that? Because most of the people like twins.
But sometimes we fight a lot because Our choices are very different. Sometimes what I want is not what you want. But especially he is introvert. Yes, then I am extrovert.
And this is the same story for most of the twins that gathered here at the meeting. Many of them say mistaken identity and no secret is also part of their experience in life.
When we started dating, our girlfriends used to get confused with identifying us. But so later they started realizing identifying us, yes. There are even times when one of his girlfriends, she is just asking me, can I identify myself?
In Hausa culture and traditions, to have twins in the family is regarded as a blessing and always admired by the society. This is the first twins meeting as a group in Katsina and has attracted a number of twins from across the state. Organizers say interaction like this will
legacy will not die. So simple, like living every moment to the full. I'll be overloading your path. All this life I did, I want to be celebrating. Tell me what you need from me now. I know what you need from me now. Stand from heaven to you, baby. I can go the distance.
Sunday on Nigerian Idol.
Proudly sponsored by Techno and Biggie for every moment.
Never again should this happen. We have passed through this path before, and it was not good for us.
Obini, fair women, no.
No one tells a story like we do. Showmax, Africa's original streaming service.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's talk about a crime against humanity and the state. In the West Africa sub-region, human trafficking is pervasive and must hit Nigeria and the Gambia. The menace is a pressing issue which comes with an undesirable trend in sex and labor exploitation, with severe consequences on victims and the society at large. The good news is that Nigeria and the Gambia are strengthening their guards to end this scourge ravaging the two countries. Already, there has been an inaugural joint technical group meeting in Abuja, from where Damilola Broxton Sunday reports.
Nigeria, being the populous African country with its geographical proximity to the Gambia, has been identified as a source, transit and destination country for human trafficking. This joint technical working group meeting between the two countries is to prevent, suppress and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children. Nigeria's High Commissioner to the Gambia and other major players opined that international collaboration and cooperation are crucial to combat the transnational nature of the crime and protect the rights and dignity of individuals vulnerable to human trafficking.
We reaffirm our resolve to confront the challenges head-on and foster an environment that upholds the principle of justice, equality, and compassion.
Only by targeting the organized criminal groups responsible for the bulk of trafficking in persons cases, we stand a fair chance of making
102 human traffickers, out of which 604 have been convicted, while 20,666 victims were rescued between 2004 and May 2023.
Children as young as 12 have been trafficked into the Gambia, and these girls are made to work in restaurants during the day and they work as prostitutes at night. So it's a huge problem.
We want to see this agreement working towards ensuring that we prevent and ensure reduction in the number of Nigerian girls and young men that are trafficked to the Gambia for different purposes.
One of the things that we need to tackle is how do we make sure that the young people are employed.
The Memorandum of Understanding to be implemented has parameters for working arrangements in prosecution, identification, protection, return, repatriation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of victims. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Great efforts. Now let's take our last break, and when we return, some sporting stories.
Today, faith and destiny join together to place the touch of human progress in our very hands. We dare not let it slip. We lift high this touch so that it might shine on every household and in every heart that calls itself Nigeria. We hold the beam aloft because it lights our path with compassion, brotherhood, and peace. May this great light never extinguish.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be a patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
Oh, I'll spread my wings and fly so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
They have come.
Once Obafemi performs the rite, it means that he has been accepted
as heir.
I need an answer from the gods.
Darkness is coming. Blood is coming. Defender of the stone throne. The warrior who will defeat those no man has defeated. Your destiny is tied to her own.
and to this land.
Since that time, people reduced us to nothing. And Moremi fell in love with their son.
Stop telling the lie. Stop telling the lie.
Guinea-Bissau beat Sao Tome and Principe 1-0 to move top of Group A of African qualifier ahead of Nigeria versus Sierra Leone match on Sunday. Ayodeji Makinde has more on Super Eagles preparations and other stories on Sporting News.
Bright Osayi Samuel's arrival completed the full list of 23 invited players to Super Eagles camp ahead of Matchday 5 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier between Nigeria and Sierra Leone at the Samuel Canyon Doe Stadium in Monrovia on Sunday. The Nigeria Football Federation, through its General Secretary Sanusi Mohammed in Abuja, assured of adequate support to the team, which has been training at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos, maintaining that qualification for the next AFCON showpiece in Côte d'Ivoire is non-negotiable.
Of course, we have players whose teams have not done well, but individually they have done very well. So I can tell you that Nigeria is a team to beat, and by the grace of God, we'll make Nigeria proud.
In another development, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has named Sudanese official Mahmoud Ali Ismail as referee for the match on Sunday. He will be assisted by compatriots Mohammed Abdullah Ibrahim, while Liban Abdulrazak Ahmed from Djibouti will serve as assistant referee too, and Mohammed Denagedi, also from Djibouti, is the fourth official. Gambian Bakari Jame will be the match commissioner. In golf, Leaf Golf players and PGA players put their strength to test as the 123rd U.S. Open tees off at the Los Angeles Country Club in California, June 15 to 18. Defending champions Matt Fitzpatrick leads the way alongside other golfers who have vowed not to allow off-course issues affect their performance after the golfing world was served the unanticipated news of merger between Leaf Golf and the PGA. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Now, the death has occurred of Ezinne Lady Jane Udewu Amechi Namani Neona, aged 58. A statement on the burial arrangements by the family indicates that there will be a service of songs at Senator Ken Namani's country home, Amechi Uwani, Enugu South local government area of Enugu State, on Thursday, June 15, 2023 at 5 p.m. Funeral service, Friday, June 16, 2023 at Ofia Utu Community Field, Amechi Uwani, Enugu South local government area of Enugu State. Out in service, Sunday, June 18, 2023 at St. John's Methodist Church, Amechi Uwani, Enugu South local government area of Enugu State by 10 a.m. And that's News Extra today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Remain patriotic.